Copyright basic for graphic designer. Let's talk about that. Hi, my name is Martisz. I make daily video about legal, business, and intellectual property. What is intellectual property? Think about copyright, trademark, and other intellectual property. In this video, we're going to talk about copyright for graphic designer. I'm going to explain the basics so you know what you can do and what you cannot do. First thing first, we're going to talk about ABC formula. If you're new to this channel and you didn't subscribe, feel free to subscribe. In this video, we're going to talk about copyright basic for graphic designer. So we're going to start first with ABC formula. What is ABC formula? And in order to understand the ABC formula, we're going to look at the whiteboard. But before that, you need to understand when you look at copyright, you need to look at copyright in your country. You need to look at the rules. But the ABC formula applies for every copyright system. When you understand the formula, you also understand what you need to do, and you also understand what you need to do when you're looking for when you're trying to determine your position. I'm going to explain that in the whiteboard soon, but let's start with going to the whiteboard, and I'm going to explain everything what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So this is the whiteboard, and when you look at the copyright, this is the whiteboard. When you look at copyright, you need to always look at three things. What is the right? Who owns it? And who wants to use it? Or who wants some permission to use it? So who wants license? So the right itself we call A. The person that owns it or the holder, we call it B. You just need to remember B can be one or two persons, so just keep that in mind. And it can also be a company, so this can be one person, two person, or one company, two company, it doesn't matter. Same apply for C. C is the person that wants to use it, or C is the person that uses it without your permission, or without B's permission. This is the ABC formula. When you look at position, you always need to look, do I have a right? That's the one thing. Am I the only owner? There are other more people that are also owner. For example, if I create together with someone something like a design, then we both have copyright. We both are copyright owners. So you need to also look at that. Another thing is, see, when they try to use your right, what did they do? Are they allowed to use your right without your permission? Is a fair use? That's also something you need to consider. And if you look at this person, if you want to sue her or if you want to take action, also look at if the person has the money to pay you, because otherwise you invest a lot of money to take action, but you don't get anything back. So this is the ABC formula. When you look at the situation, always look for these three things. When you look at situation, you need to have this, otherwise you don't have really a case, or otherwise you don't know what your position is. So this is the ABC formula, and it's important to know what is copyright, and we're going to look at the basic copyright, what you need to consider when you look at copyright and other things. So we have one document here, and in the document you can find everything that you need about copyright. Thing is, we can discuss copyright about every country, but it's going to take a long time. So we're going to only take one country, and that's the US, and there we're going to talk about the copyright basic. What you need to understand is, and also keep in mind, that these are the copyright rules for in the US. If you are in another country, if you're in Europe, if you're in another country like Canada, doesn't matter, right? They also have copyright, but the system is almost the same. There are some minor difference. So when you look at copyright, you need to look at what is copyright. So let's read it. Copyright is form of protection provided by the law of the United States to the author of original works of authorship that are fixed in a tangible form of expression. An original work of authorship is a work that is independently created by a human author and possesses at least some minimal degree of creativity. And now comes it. This is the most important stuff. A work is fixed when it's captured, either by or under the authority of an author, in a sufficiently permanent medium such that the work can be perceived, reproduced, or communicate for more than a short time. And last part, copyright protection in the United States, exists automatically from the moment the original work of authorship is fixed. So when you look at this, you have 1, fixed, and then 2, you do not need to register. Some other intellectual property you need to register in order to get them, but here it states clear in the United States, when you want copyright, you do not need to register. You just need to meet the requirement. The requirement is a work needs to be fixed. And that's what they're saying. As soon as your work is fixed and you have copyright, you meet the requirements, then you have copyright on your work. And that's something that people don't understand. You do not need to register. Why do you need to register, or why do people register? This is just for a proof. If you need to prove something to someone, if you register, it's easy to prove that you have copyright. That's why a lot of people register copyright. So we know what copyright is, but let's look at some example and what can be copyright and what cannot be copyright. So if you look down in a document, and this document you can download it, there's a link below in the description, you can download it and you can read it, but you can also go to this website and you can find it and you can read it. So here you see what can be protected. If you're a designer, you create a lot of graphic design, image, doesn't matter, a lot of things. Most of the time those things are copyright protected. The thing is, you need to know what you can do, what you cannot do it. But let's look what is protected, then we're going to look what is not protected, and then what you can do with it. So things that are protected are digital work, music work, dramatic works, can be anything, everything you see here. These things are protected. Even the graphic that you make, those things are protected. You don't have to worry about it. As soon as you make it, you meet the requirement, you have copyright on it. It's that simple. But when you have copyright on it, what rights do you have? Copyright is a monopoly right. It means that you have exclusive right. You're allowed to do whatever you want with the thing that you create because it's technically yours. The thing is, there are some limitation. The law can limit you, your power or your exclusivity. That's why you need to look in the law what is stated about copyright. So in this case, you can read, if you're in the United States, if you have to deal with the United States law about copyright, here you will find a lot of things about copyright, what you can do and what you cannot do. Example is reproduce the work in copies of phono records, those kind of things, but it's just about the reproduction. That's the thing. So these are the rights that you have. But let's look at what not is protected. Ideas. If you have an idea and you don't put it on paper, you don't create it, it's not protected. It's that simple. System processes, those things are not protected. As soon as you have it on paper and you execute it, then it's protected. But here, it's not protected. Title, names, short phrases, and slogans, also not protected. So you see here you find things that are not protected, and what does it mean? You don't have copyright. It's that simple. When you create it, you don't have copyright. So who can claim copyright? Think about the owners. If you create it with 2 people, then you have 2 people, and those 2 people have copyright. But if you create something, you are the owner and you have copyright on it. And there are a lot of things here in this document that you can read. I'm not going to discuss everything about this in this video. In other videos, I will explain other topic about copyright, like expire, disclaimer, what you can do when you promote things online, those kind of things. You can read this document. If you have questions about this document, feel free to contact me, and I will see you in the next video.